I'm Jennifer Shahadi. I think most of you know me. I'm the women's program director at US Chess, and we do these events every week, sometimes twice a week. And like I said, it's always a highlight of my week. But we also have a lot of other really exciting guests today. I'm also going to introduce the incredible woman, Carla Berkowitz, who is just another example in our Girls Club room of people who succeed with chess, but not in the way that you always expect. She's the executive producer of Critical Thinking and an all-around boss lady from what I understand. So Carla, thank you so much.
Thank you for that incredible introduction. I don't know if I can live up to that, but I will try. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And we also have an old friend, and I want to say frenemy. Sorry, Marcel, but Marcel Martinez. I can't even say that he's FM because he's so much stronger than that. I feel like he used to play at grandmaster level, certainly IM level. He's a former US junior champion, high school champion, and just a real incredible advocate for the game.
Thank you for bringing me in, Jen. It's always a pleasure, and to be in a room full of ladies, which I know are way smarter than we are. So I'm multi-honored to be here today.
Well, and it looks like we also have with us now, John Leguizamo.
There you are.
How's it going? How are you? How's it going?
We're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here with us. John Leguizamo, he's been in so many incredible movies. He was the star of Critical Thinking as well as the director. And I think that if you know his work, you know that he's able to combine his incredible passion for his craft with making the world a better place. And
I got to make the world a better place than I came into it. It's my goal. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. And we actually have some special guests, John.
Who? I mean, you got Martinez, you got Carla. I mean, who else?
We're not that special, but there is someone really special.
Well, we recently, our Girls Club, one of the things we do in addition to teaching the girls chess is we bring in special guests, and sometimes we do cross-cultural exchange groups. And incidentally, a few weeks ago, we brought in some girls and some boys from Colombia. And
oh, wow.
And a lot of them are here today. So our Colombian friends, I'd love it if you turn on your camera if you haven't already and say hello to John.
Hello.
Yes, Natalia, Vanessa, Jorge. And then there's Nadia Ortiz, who's actually the first women's grandmaster ever from Colombia.
Hello, it's such a pleasure to be here. And I watched the movie, it's so touching. And thank you for, bringing this to chess and to Carla too. So happy to be here.
Oh, nice. What a great surprise. You're right. This is an incredible surprise.
I told you, Jen. Yeah.
You weren't kidding.
Yeah.
How exciting to have all these great champions with us.
Yes. And Nadia is the leader, along with her dad, Jorge Ortiz. She's the leader of a group of young talents in Colombia who are here with us today. And I'm sure they're going to have some questions for you later. But I did want to just kick it off with a question about what surprised you most about working on this chess film?
Well, obviously, the amount of studying that goes into chess. I always thought it was much more just completely intuitive, or you either had it or you didn't. And learning from Mario Martinez, Marcel, who was incredibly helpful to me in the movie. I couldn't have done the movie without Marcel's help. And they, I just learned that there's a lot of strategy that goes into this. There's a lot of intellectual mastery of moves, of the history of moves. I studied it as best as I could. I try to memorize them at least for the moment, but it was hard. It was hard. There was so much information. It was mind-boggling.
That's amazing, because that actually ties into the first clip that I wanted to share with people. I know a lot of people have already seen this film, and I'm getting a lot of questions in the chat about where's the best place to watch it if you haven't seen it yet. It's on Amazon, YouTube. Carla, it's everywhere, right?
It's on Amazon, iTunes, Stars, DirecTV, Apple TV, Vudu, Redbox, and now it's on Netflix Canada, which is exciting. So it's everywhere and every cable provider available.
Yeah, it's so basically it's everywhere. You'll find it on
pretty
it.
much.
Yeah.
Everywhere but Netflix America.
Not yet. Yeah.
Next up, yes. So this is a scene that I think really shows how much chess you had to memorize. Let's just take a quick look at it.
Woo.
Este muchacho, mira eso. Up, down, 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 get up, down. All right, really good, my man. Now, Roddy for the counter.
I got you. Step aside, step aside. Then Black Knight to D7. And just like that.
Nice, my man. So this is the beauty of Morphy's game that is recognized by all the chess masters. This is where his brilliance comes in. Because who else would have thought of this move but to move the queen here for the check?
Hold on, time out. No, time out. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why boo?
What's wrong with you?
Why is it a whack move, Cedric? Don't just talk to me, man. Show me, man.
That's
Don't
a free
show me.
queen. Free queen. The knight just takes it. I don't know how you playing chess, but you off today, Mr. T. That's official. That's whack.
You're right. It would be a whack move, smartass. It would be. No. It would be a whack move. It would be the stupidest thing ever. That would be the unthinkable because we never give up a free queen, right? We never. Not a good player gives up free. Unless you know. Unless it's for a checkmate.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Mr. T's like, man.
So tell us about that scene. Like, because you showed the whole game.
Yeah.
Did you have
pretty
to?
Much. Yeah, Morphy's game, the opera game, I think is pretty well known, and we selected it because it's an exciting, dramatic way of teaching chess. And so I had to learn all those moves, and it was really difficult. They had to learn the moves too because they had to come in at the right times. So it was a massive learning experience for us. We had to do a lot of rehearsal. Marcel was there. Some of the other players. Gil Luna was also incredibly instrumental in helping me teach the kids how to look like professional champions, how to move the pieces, to explain to us what the Philidor move is, the Italian opening,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And right now, my mind is, I'm in London, so it's like almost 10 o'clock, so I'm not as sharp.
Oh no, we're not going to give you any chess quiz right now, right, Marcel?
No. Marcel would like to. He likes to quiz me.
Johnny Legs already passed all the tests there are to pass. So in my book, he's one of the smartest guys I know. So that's all I can say.
Coming from such a brilliant guy, that's a lot. That's a big compliment.
And what did you find the most challenging about having to prepare for the chess aspects of the movie?
Well, it was learning because it wasn't just Morphy's game. I was trying to use the exact games that Marcel used and that the other real champions from that era and that in the story used in the different championships. So I had them teach it to my actors, and they were brilliant, man. I mean, they were playing chess on their own, trying to get the swag of throwing the piece, memorizing it, trying to be able to improvise, knowing the chess language. So yeah, it took a village to make this movie.
Yes. The question in the poll was, what was this famous game called? And it was not the super amazing historical queen sack game. It was the opera game, and they mostly got
the
it
opera
right.
game. That's right.
Yeah, it's an incredible game, and you definitely taught it so well to the class. Does anybody have any questions about John and the chess elements in this series, or for Carla or for Marcel? Yes, we already have a bunch of questions. And then I'm going to show another clip, which really shows off a different important angle of the movie. Sujana.
So I have a question, like, where did you get the idea for making the movie?
That's a great question. The idea came from these 5 incredible kids that became national American chess champions. coming from very impoverished situations and difficult situations, and they were so brilliant that they became United States chess champions. So it was a real story. And Carla Berkowitz, the producer, championed and found this story in a newspaper article, and she championed the story for many, many years and protected the story and got it to the screen.
That's right. Carla was working on this for so many years, and Marcel Martinez was the #1 board for that team. And we're going to see some of the highlights from his performance there later. And I was actually on one of the teams there too, Masterman, that tied for first with Miami Jackson. So it was so cool to see us mentioned in the film.
But can you tell us what it was like to play against Marcel? I'd like to know what that was like.
Terrible.
Why?
Marcel had a good record against me. I actually showed, Marcel and I played a lot, and he just, I don't know why, but he had a good record against me. I think it was also, I remember one game I played really well against Marcel, and I played beautiful chess, and I got into time pressure, and he won against me. And after the game, he was so encouraging. Or maybe it was a week or two after the game, but he was like, wow, you're so talented, Jen. You need to just play a little faster.
The thing is, Marcel doesn't get rattled or nervous about time or anything. That's his secret weapon. That's his superpower.
Yeah.
What do you attribute to that, Marcel?
Playing against Jen was always a challenge because she was such a smart girl. Since a very young age, she was very talented, just like her brother. And basically, she's excelled at everything she's done, not only the chess playing part, she's also done amazingly at broadcasting, at playing poker, which we also share a passion with poker. So many, such a smart lady at so many levels. And we were so young back then, and we were, I guess, encouraging each other to go further and further. And, she definitely, she's been U.S. champion many times, member of the Olympic team, and everything that basically you can achieve chess-wise. For me, it was just, an underdog story coming from Cuba and, trying to make it in the States. And, I had my share of success, and I enjoyed it very much. And, who was going to say that this story was going to turn into a movie, a full feature Hollywood movie? All thanks to Carla and John and everybody involved. But I also wanted to mention that when you were talking to Johnny Legs, Jen, that John not only was playing the role of the coach in the movie, but he also directed the movie. So he was filling two very important duties at the same time. And to me, that was unbelievably amazing and speaks of how talented Johnny Legs is.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Marcel. You're a kind man.
Yeah, that is really incredible. And I saw some interviews with you, John, where you talked about how much incredible talent there was that auditioned for these roles, and how it was difficult. The actors that you picked were phenomenal, but it was difficult choices.
Oh my God, there was so much great talent. So many talented Latin and Black actors out there who auditioned for the parts, and in hundreds, and they were all so incredible. Everybody brought a different sort of element, a different personality quirk that was really interesting. So I tried to pick the actors that most looked or personality-wise fit right into the original guys. So, just make it an easier thing for me to direct.
Yeah, that makes sense. And wow, you really nailed it with Rodelay. I was getting flashbacks. He's the most comic figure in the movie.
He still is in real life.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
he's still a character, a lovely character, but a character nevertheless. But they're all characters. All these guys are characters.
Well, that segues into a part of the film that I also wanted to share with you guys about the importance of representation. And gosh, this is definitely my favorite scene in the movie. Oh, actually tied with the one where Marcel beats Rodelay in the bar. That's really good too.
This is that whole thing I keep telling you guys about history. That thing in history, man.
Written by winners.
Or the people with the means.
Oh, snap, Mr. T about to drop some vitamin K, huh?
Oh, you best believe. Because, you know, there was this great Latin chess player, Raul Capablanca, known to be the greatest chess player by all chess players, and yet, how come we don't know about him? How come we know that chess was invented in India, perfected in Persia, but not know that it was modernized by a Spanish guy named Maura?
Yo, Mr. T, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead, Roddy.
How come they always paint us out? They rewrite us.
Okay, I'm only allowed to give you so much Latin and Black history because our contributions into the making of America is dictated by the Board of Ed, whose books are made and controlled in the state of Texas, but who's counting, right? But I'm gonna ask you that whenever you don't see a familiar image that you feel like you can relate to, and whatever it is that you're moved by, that you dig deeper than your dusty old Britannica encyclopedia.
Word, Mr. T.
Because we people of color have been everywhere since time immemorial. And if you pick up one of these bad boys and you open it up and you don't recognize yourself, I hope you realize that this was their oversight, that this was their mistake to paint you out.
Yeah, that was, I think, a lot of people's favorite scene in the movie. Just so amazing. Carla, did you want to speak to that? I know you look at...
I feel that no matter how many times I see it, I still get goosebumps, and I don't even remember. I can't help it. I don't even know what's going to happen next, even though I know exactly what's going to happen next, because it's so, it's so overwhelmingly familiar to me, and I know to Marcel and to John, and to and to Miami at the time, and to Miami now, and to the world. It doesn't matter what inner city. And it's so true that it hurts. That's what I feel. Nothing's changed. Well, we're trying.
Not enough. You're so right. I mean, not enough. Things have not changed enough. I mean, our public, the textbooks that are being used in schools still don't include Latin heroes and Black heroes of the American Revolutionary War, of the Civil War, of World War I and World War II. We still don't see it in the History Channel or in Hollywood movies. You know, there's still a lot of psychosocial erasure going on.
And you have another project, Latin History for Morons, right? That speaks to that.
Yeah. It was a Broadway show that got filmed for Netflix about a year and a half ago. And it's basically, it was based on my son being bullied at school for being Latin. And I wanted to give my son verbal ammunition, facts. I wanted to give him facts to protect himself, to arm himself against the bullies. And it ended up was that I learned so much about Latin history that it gave me such I felt like being Latin was a superpower now, because I knew so much of 500 years of history of how we discovered America, built America. It was taken from us, and so much oppression, but we still continued to deliver. I mean, we gave the world the artificial heart, the electric brake, the capture code, not that big a deal, the birth control pill, the pen, the yo-yo, okay, not that great, but we give the world a lot of great things. Chocolate, tomato sauce, popcorn. Yeah. There's a lot of great things we've done, military-wise. We've fought for this country in every single war America's ever had, and the most awarded minority in each and every single war, and all these other great gifts. And I like to see someday in America that celebrates us in that very way.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. And we have a question from Bianca. By the way, a lot of people, I'm sorry, the volume seemed to be off at the very beginning when this wonderful question. So I'll just play it for you guys one more time.
Yo, Mr. T, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead, Roddy.
How come they always paint us out? They rewrite us.
So that was the start of the scene. Why do they always paint us out? Really beautiful and great line by the actor as well. That was really...
Oh yeah, great delivery. He's such a talented. He's on Pose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Angel.
He's great.
Yeah.
But Bianca, did you want to turn your camera on and ask your question?
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Bianca Mitchell. I'm a Latina Chicana filmmaker from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I'm actually making my own documentary about women in chess. And I wanted to thank you for making a movie about representation. And it really matters in film. I do my own research. And as a young filmmaker, I've searched out for Latino and Latina mentors. And I've learned that Latinos only make up about 3% of positions in front and behind the camera in the entertainment industry, and Latinas make even less. And I did research in the chess community as well, and I could not find any statistics about Latinos and Latinas. Why do you think Latino representation is so small in both the entertainment and chess worlds, and what can we do about it as a community?
You know, it's a problem that's confounded me my whole entire life, because we're the second oldest ethnic group in America after Native Americans. So we're the oldest ethnic group in America, basically. We're the largest ethnic group in America. We have $2.3 trillion of buying power in America. If we were our own country, it'd be the 10th largest economy in the world. So how can we remain so invisible, our communities underserved, be so underrepresented? Obviously, it's not for lack of talent. It's not a pipeline problem. It's not our ability. It's not our hunger. It's not our lack of ambition. It's unfortunately, gatekeepers, racism that has kept us down, and hopefully things are about to change. I think Black Lives Matter has really woke up America in so many ways about the Black situation, but also about the Latin situation, because our cause is very similar to the Black cause. It's a sister cause in a lot of ways. And I feel like things are really changing. People are really taking stock and looking at themselves and their corporations, their companies, their studios, and going, where are the Latin people in power? Where are the Latin people in the crew? Where are the Latin people? Where are the Latin women? All that. I think we have to keep demanding. We have to keep organizing. We have to keep fighting. And I think we have to organize and protest. I think that's the way we have to demand power.
Even awards, award shows as well.
Right. Like Carla, SAG Award just came out. Not one Latin talent in any category selected. And obviously it's not the SAG problem. The problem starts earlier when the studios are deciding what stories to do. And it's not because they're not getting Latin stories, it's because they're not greenlighting them. They're not saying yes to these projects. They're not moving them forward. And even if it was a lack of story issue, they could still do what they did with Carlito's Way, take a Latin story and put a white guy in it, or Scarface, take a Latin story and put a Argo about Tony, the FBI, the real agent that Ben Affleck played was a Latin guy. They can take Latin stories and make them white. Why can you take white stories and put a Latin guy? So there's no real excuse for it any longer in our times. But what you're doing is a great thing. Research, creating your own project, and believing in yourself. And you have to believe in yourself against all odds. And I know you'll make it and thrive.
Oh yeah, Bianca is definitely going to thrive. Cicera.
I'm glad to hear that.
Cicera, do you have a question?
Hi, my name's Cicera, and I have a question on the game that you put in the movie. So you chose the Immortal game, and I just want to know why you chose the Immortal game. Like, there's other games as well.
You're talking about the Morpheus game, the opera game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I want to say that, yeah.
Yeah. I chose it because I thought it was the most dramatic for an audience, especially a non-chess playing audience. I thought the story behind it was really interesting, how he played it during an opera game, and and how he beat these two rich guys so easily. I think the story behind it was really great, but also the moves. I thought the moves were really interesting for a non-chess playing audience. And obviously chess players know it, and they understand that it's a famous game, but I wanted to pick a game that was exciting for the non-chess audience.
I want to say that John did a great job in because that opera game was the moves were a bit sublime, and he asked that there was a line in that scene where he's like, that he wasn't a butcher. He was
right.
Some guy was like, some guy asked, actually, Ito, Elmi. Do you remember that, John? When he's like, no, he wouldn't. You said no, he wouldn't do that. He's an artist, not a butcher. So that game, I think, illustrated the beauty of the moves.
Right, because I think unconsciously I wasn't aware of that, but the messaging of the movie was about peace and about celebrating your ability and not sort of not condoning fighting or violence. I think that was a subliminal message within the piece, and I think why we love the movie so much is because the message is about celebrating nurturing and celebrating talent and ability, and condoning violence and oppression.
We have time for a couple more questions for John. I'm wondering if anybody from our Colombian friends has a question, and if you want to say it in Spanish, that's totally fine.
Wait a minute. Did I say condoning? I meant condemning. It's London time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Hey, Jen, I would like to ask a question. Will that possible?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, John, this is Nadia. Soy colombiana, orgullosamente. And the movie was so touching because I grew up in Colombia in a very low-income area. Colombia is Simón Bolívar neighborhood where it's the movie, right?
I've been there.
And thanks to chess changed my life. And now I'm trying to give back. But my question to you is, how can we have more Mr. T? Because I think those are the ones who play a huge role. And those are the ones who get discouraged. I mean, you say, you have your saving money for a rainy day, but not everyone has that saving, right? Not everyone has that encouragement. So I know it's an open question. It's hard to, tackle in just one sentence of response. But now that I'm in this journey of helping and giving back, I want to create more Mr. T's. How can we do that? How can we manage to create an environment to support and have the encouragement to have more Mr. T's?
I agree with you. I mean, mentors are everything, especially in underserved communities. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for mentors and people who tapped me on the shoulder and said, you can be more, you're worth it, you're worth it. That's what I needed to hear. And some mentors did that for me. My math teacher, my English teacher, my stepmother, my therapist. There was a lot of people who had to pat me to make me feel like that I could be somebody. And these people are very valuable. Mr. Martinez is a beautiful human being. He loves these guys and was an unconditional giver. And those people are hard to find in the world, and we have to take care of them and celebrate them. How do we create them? Well, we have to do it ourselves. We have to be those people. That's the way we do that. I try to give back as often as I can with my work, selecting work that I feel elevates Latin image, and so puts us in a higher profile. I'm working with programs that are going to hire Latin talent, writers, crew. By crew, I mean the director of photography, grips, and writers, directors. So I'm trying to create programs to be a mentor for other people as well. And I think that's how we do. I go to schools as well. I do talks in colleges. So I take on that role myself. And I think, wherever you can do it, you yourself can be a mentor, and then, encourage other people to give. I always tell people, it'd be great if you could give back, or, you have such a great success. Why don't you give back a little bit? kids would love to hear. You know, we encourage others to try to give back.
And Nadia's doing that so fantastically with her students.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
I applaud you.
I'm just very curious how can create that environment, but I think I liked your perspective. Thank you. I think it's encouraging because not only one person is everyone is take that effort of giving back. I think, thanks for that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, if we all gave back an hour, a month or a week, it would change the whole world. You know, if everybody decided to give back a little, you know.
And I totally agree with you. It's not even money. It's just that, hand that you can do be there. But thanks for that perspective, and congrats again, Carla, too. This is such an amazing story. There was a similar story in the other way in Texas, in Brownsville, which was similar. The kids never travel around US because of chess. And I think that's with Jen is doing such an amazing work with this idea is chess. For all the girls that are here, it's not only to become, grandmasters. Here is like it can change the course of your life. So,
that's what Ito, one of the 5 great champs,
correct,
of that, he told us all and on camera how it changed his life completely. You know, turned his whole life around, and you saw it there. You know. I mean, my life too was changed. You know, if it wasn't for mentors, I wouldn't be here today. You know, I mean, not talking to you, who knows where I'd be. But I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was a problem child, and a lot of people intervened on my behalf to rescue me.
Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.
John, I know you need to go in a minute because it's very late where you are. So big thank you.
Thank you for having me. What a pleasure to see you, and what a great show you have. Keep on keeping on, baby.
Yeah, well, it was a great pleasure to have you, John. And
I have to stop you. Jen watches one of your movies every 5 years, like a vaccine booster. Every 5 years, she watches one of your movies. Tell him. Don't be shy.
Oh my God, I've always been such a fan of Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything.
Oh, I love that movie.
Every 5 years, she watches it.
And I didn't.
It's such a great movie. It holds up. It's so interesting because it holds up. I think it gets better with age, and I'm very proud of that movie because my character Chichi Rodriguez for a while in the late '90s became a teenage LGBTQ icon and helped a lot of kids come out and be able to talk to their parents about their sexuality. So I'm glad that my character was able to be a little safe haven and a little boost.
Yeah, and I really love how, even though you were so acclaimed in this role, I mean, you were so good at the role, I didn't realize it was you till I looked it up. Sorry.
That's okay. Hey, that's a great compliment. What are you talking about?
But I thought it was very gracious that 25 years later, you said if the movie was cast today, you would have loved to see a transgender woman play your character.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can't have it. I mean, it's a different world. I mean, I like that. We should give the chance to the real authentic people that did the story, authentic people representing that story.
Well, thank you again so much, John, for your inspiration. And yes, watch Critical Thinking, watch Latin History for Morons, and big thank you to inspiring us all today.
Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Marcel.
Bye,
Thank you very much.
Ciao. Bye, everybody. Much love.
Bye, John. Good night. So everybody else stay though, because we got more in this program for you. We are going to talk about Marcel and some of his great games. And we're also going to open up a little bit of the Q&A to Marcel and Carla in a few minutes. But first, I wanted to show my other favorite scene from the movie, which is another great chess game. The opera game was not the only chess game shown in this. So let's open that up. Well, while I'm doing that, can I ask you, Marcel, what was your favorite scene?
That's a very difficult question. I think just the tournament scenes at the end, it really brought back a lot of memories because it was a real challenge to me to be competing in a national championship. Like I had just recently arrived from Cuba, and I met all of you guys, everybody was super friendly, but I still couldn't communicate correctly. And, I was just so concentrated in the games and trying to achieve a result. I remember the playing in the quick tournament before the regular tournament, and I got like third place or something. So I was like very, very disappointed, and I really took it upon myself to prove it to myself that I could do better in the main event. And it was just like, you know, seeing that play over and playing the game that I beat Akopian in the last round when we were both 6 out of 6 going for the perfect score. And Akopian had been national champion like 10 times in a row, like every age group. And even my teammates were doubting, you know, that I could beat Akopian. And that battle playing in my head of like I have to make it happen, you know, like, you know, I have to put a lot of pressure on this guy. And you know, seeing that in the movie really brought back a lot of memories. So that probably had a lot, you know, to do with me picking that as a favorite part of the movie.
All right. Well, here's one of my favorite parts, Marcel.
We're just here to make some money, and that's
So
it.
you're a hustler now.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. How much you want to play for?
Who, you? Oh, hell no. I'm not here to take your money.
No. I know I can't beat you. But my friend Marcel, who just came from Cuba, I mean, he plays a little. Over there.
A word? You want to call him over?
Marcel?
I'm going to take his money, for sure. Ready, my friend? Check this out. We're going to go right here. You already take it too long, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, my God.
Por cualquier cosa me llama, ¿viste?
Right there, baby. Come on, baby. Back up, baby. Back up. Yo, I'm going to take all your pieces, bro. I'm going to take all your pieces, bro. I'm going to take all your pieces, bro. Let's go now. All your pieces, bro. I'm gonna take all your pieces, every single one. Nah. See? Hold it there.
Cógelo tranquilo, brother. Eso pasa. No. My money. I beat you. You lost. You have to pay me now.
Hold on. I thought you said you didn't speak English, my friend.
It doesn't matter, bro. You lost. You have to pay me.
Yeah, it does matter, bro.
Give me
You
my
just
money.
hustled us, bro. Get the money then. Come get it. Call him.
Bro,
That's my homie too, bro. That's my homie.
Just give him the money.
Carao, brother.
Where you go to school?
I don't go to school yet, man. I'm new here.
How old are you?
18.
What's your chest rating?
2300.
Yo, you know what, man? It was just one move, bro. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. I can beat him. Let's go. I can beat him. Let's go.
I love that scene. And let's take a look. Did anybody catch the game? Because we're going to take a look at it now.
I always find it funny, Jen, that in every chess related activity like movie or whatnot, we always end up going and looking very deeply into the game. Like we never miss a beat.
Yes. Well, this is a good one. This is a good one to show them. So it came from the Roy Lopez. And now, how accurate is this, Marcel? Is this an opening line that you would have played?
Well, I actually had played these lines as black in the very past. It didn't happen in this particular. I mean, even though we picked it for the scene, it had nothing to do with me playing Rodelay or anything. But yeah, I used to play these lines, and there was back in the days when Fischer used to play the exchange in the Ruy Lopez, there was a lot of analysis done on this line, and Fischer trying to prove it from the white side. And I remember going over these lines a lot at that age in my life, yes.
And here White played the exchange variation, not the main line, but a good line nonetheless. And now there's this very tricky idea. Bishop G4, H3, and just H5, leaving the bishop hanging. Now I'm going to ask you, what would you guys do here before we move on? So White to move, what would you do here? No, Marcel was actually black, but yeah, he was playing the black pieces. But the question is, what would you do as White? So I'll give you guys a chance to think about it. All right, we got a lot of people voting. Come on. I'll give you guys about a minute, and then we'll kind of show what actually happened in the game, in the movie. Why did I love this scene so much? I just think that there was something really, there was actually something really realistic about it. I thought Marcel was like, I thought they did a lot of good work with the silence, kind of similar to in the Queen's Gambit, how there was like the silence was so loud when Rodelay realized that he was losing. I noticed a lot of moments like that in this movie and the Queen's Gambit, like chess just speaks so loudly, even if you don't know the moves. It was like, oh no, it's over.
I agree with you 100%, and I think also you knowing me and knowing Rodelay so well, it brought back a lot of memories because, like you said, in a lot of details they painted us exactly how it was. So that was a very good job on the production side.
Oh yeah. And by the way, so D3, very good move, by the way. Fantastic. You guys did pick D3, which is a good move. Now, a lot of you did pick this move, which I don't blame you for. You do win a bishop, but it is the move that was played in the game by Rodelay, and he quickly got punished because after H takes G4 and Knight E5, yes, Anna Miller, exactly right, Queen H4, and you've got these two mate threats that you can't actually stop. I mean, you could stop them temporarily with something like F4, but then you get to play G3 and it's mating anyway. So yeah, this one, what is White's best idea at this point, Marcel? Like you have to play G3 or something maybe?
I don't recall if there was something like Rookie 1 or something, or maybe G3, yes. But I do remember going over this, back in those days, because there's a line after D3, which is definitely the correct move, in which Fischer tried to prove right about taking the bishop. But to be honest, it's been so long that I don't really remember any of this stuff. But I know that there's if you look back at the Fischer's games from the 60s, like maybe 1966, around there, in which he was really playing a lot of exchange Ruy Lopez. You could find this in any of the analysis, from those lines.
And I saw a game really recently played by Sam Shanklin playing White in this as well. So yeah, this line is not a joke for White. You just can't take that bishop off. A lot of you guys played C3 or Rookie 1. As you can see in the database here, those moves have been played as well. They don't lose. I think Rookie 1 to me seems a little soft because it's like really obvious you need to move your pawn to D3 to protect this pawn and develop the bishop. Whereas it's not 100% clear you need your rook on E1 right away. So that's probably why that move's not played quite as often, but it's definitely not bad. Somebody asked about H takes G4, pawn takes G4, knight H2. But the problem there is Queen H4 is still good, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Still nothing to do here. Okay, so that was a really cool scene. And then another very memorable scene was the one where you played blindfold chess. I really loved that. And I wanted to show that. Let me just open that up. And by the way, Marcel, do you actually play a lot of blindfold chess, or was that more fictional?
At that time I did, Jen, and even in Cuba, I used to do it a lot as part of my training, and I got to do it versus, I remember 6 people at once was my top, obviously with the purpose of training, but when this scene actually really happened, and it was filmed by CNN, and it was only with the idea of getting money to help us go to the tournament. So they put it out in CNN on a show that they had called Larry Woods Across America, and we got a lot of money sent to the schools that help us go to the tournaments. It paid for a lot of our airfare and hotel stays and for the whole team. So it was a great idea that Mario had, and I was very happy to do it and help out the team in the cost and all that of all the expenses that we had.
That's amazing. And what was the max number of people you've ever played blindfold?
I play versus 6, but I remember it being very challenging, and I usually did it with 3 or 2, but definitely with an idea in mind, like they were playing an opening that I needed to get better at or something. So it was a design training, not only for the sake of playing blindfolded. So that was my idea back then.
And I'm asking the crowd now about playing blindfold chess. Yeah, it's funny. I always played blindfold chess just like with practice, but I never really enjoyed it because it gave me a headache. But then I was asked to give an exhibition when I was pregnant, a blindfold exhibition, and I had to finally say yes because I just thought the title of the exhibition, Blindfold and Pregnant, is just too perfect. So, and that was what got me. Okay, but let's just watch the scene for anybody who hasn't seen it because it's so phenomenal.
Caballo E5.
Oh, he checked me.
Pawn takes queen at G6. Alfil por G6, jaque mate. G pawn takes knight. Alfil por F6, jaque.
Caballo toma el peón en D5.
Caballo A4.
Unbelievable, man.
That's amazing.
Mr. T, we're serious now.
I'm gonna call you Marcel Duchamp because he was a great painter, and your stroke is genius, little papo. Incredible, amazing. Come on. Everybody, welcome Marcel to the team, please.
I love Marcel Duchamp, so that was quite an exciting moment for me to see Marcel mentioned so many times in the movie. Not just Marcel Martinez, but also Marcel Duchamp, the artist. But in real life, you weren't really called Marcel Duchamp, were you?
No, not really.
You could have been. You had an artistic chess style. Speaking of which, I have to ask you, Marcel, because you had a lot of accomplishments in chess. Which one was more significant to you, winning the U.S. Junior Championship or winning the high school nationals that was featured in Critical Thinking?
Definitely for me, Jen, from a chess perspective, was the junior championship. Obviously, you were there at that tournament. That was in 1999 in San Francisco at the Mechanics Institute. It was a dream of mine to be a junior champion in Cuba since I started playing chess. I never got to do it because I left a little too early. And when I got here to achieve it in the U.S., at the same location where Bobby Fischer won the U.S. Junior Championship at his, at the time, to me, it was like a dream come true. I really thought that, there's a lot to be made, a lot to be achieved still. And I was so happy with the result. I mean, I started losing to our friend Dimitri Schneider in the first round. And then, I had to really turn it around to win the 9-round event. I remember, a lot of people from that tournament became grandmasters. We had Eugene Perestein, which is a grandmaster.
Irina Krush.
Irina Krush, multi-US women champion. Multi-US US women champion. We have Vinay Bhatt, which is also grandmaster. Dimitri Schneider, almost a grandmaster. Akopian was in that event too. Dimitri Silberstein, another IM from California. I mean, there was so much talent in that event. To me, it was a great result. I know I was at the middle of the table when the tournament started. I knew I could do it, but it's not over until it's over. And for me to finally get that to a happy, end, it was an unbelievable result. I was very, very happy, and it was a great event. I mean, that one was definitely on the top of my, at least on the personal level, chess-wise,
And here's a game from it. Now we are running a little low on time because I did want to give you guys 10 minutes to ask Carla and Marcel questions. So we're gonna go through this pretty quickly. It's a Sicilian game. I just want to show you one key moment from it. It's a Sicilian game, and we're gonna be having a Sicilian themed tournament on February 20th. Grandmaster Pontus Carlsen is going to give a lesson on the 19th. This is one of the most important lines. It's a key line of the night, and we could spend an hour on this game. But the key point here is that both players are out for each other's throats. It's castling on opposite sides. Just go for checkmate. And hey, that's the Marcel they portrayed in the movie. So.
And this is versus our mutual friend Andre Zaremba. Very good player as well. I remember I used to play this line as white. I also played it as black, but not as often. And I love the fact that you're hanging from a thread. If you don't play the accurate moves, everything could go down. Very easily. And this A3 move was kind of surprising to Andre. I mean, I don't want to get into too much detail in order not to delay everything, but I know it's not the most common move, the A3 move. I know I had seen some notes from Cuban Grandmaster Walter Arencibia in a notebook that he had prepared for when he won the World Junior Championship in 1986. And basically, I was playing this game based on those notes. And as a side story, in that tournament, I had no chess set, no computer, no laptop. I was basically playing by myself with nothing to be helped by. So it was basically all memory, and it turned out quite okay. So no complaints there.
So A3, and very quickly, so as always in the Sicilian, both sides are coming at each other. White's going this way, black's going for B4, crash through. It's about like who gets there first. And this move F5 is obviously threatening just to destroy and rip things open. And then after E5, you get the tempo on the queen, which is really important. And Rook C8, Knight D5. Now, somehow you managed to get okay, yeah, so they played F6 here, allowing you this Queen H5 check. I guess he was too scared to castle kingside here.
Yes.
Yeah, that
and
was.
Also the F6 is a threat at some point. I mean, destroying everything there. I mean, basically, my idea started with A3 in order to hold off black a little bit while I go ahead and attack on the king side. And then after the F5 maneuver, I mean, his first reaction versus A3 was already the wrong one. Bishop B7, I know, wasn't an accurate move. Rook B8 is a little more accurate to continue the attack. Also putting the queen on A5, which seemed like a normal Sicilian move in that particular spot, wasn't accurate either. So now, after black played E5, giving up the D5 square, and then my bishop is much better than his bishop. So everything is like, all my pieces are a little bit better than his. And the only threat that he has is through the C file. It's very well contained by that Rook H2 move. So it seems like it's an easier game to play from the white side than it is from black. So this was not a very good result for black in this opening.
No, not at all. Not a good outcome for him. And then you get to squeeze this check in, which is amazing because now he has to take time out to play King F8, and this rook will never enter the dance again. So you just went back, just chill, same position, but his king's on F8. Good luck with that. And I see he's getting a bit of counterplay here, but it's just really hard without these two pieces playing, right?
Yeah, the rook's not communicated. I mean, it's a matter of time before white can regroup and put them in an even better position. Basically, I have all the time in the world. I mean, there's no active counterplay from the black side. So it's only a matter of time. And now through the G file, he's gonna have some issues. I don't really remember the whole game, to be honest.
Oh, I'll show you. But I like the move Bishop F1 too. It's like that's a class move because a lot of people are going to look at attacking on this side, and you're like, nah, my bishop's done its work because it's locked in. So you just go back. Really nice. And then we have you taking and playing Knight D2. Now is a key moment where we have to. So you're piling up on this pawn, right? But you had to anticipate this move, Bishop A5. So I'm going to ask you guys what you would play here after Bishop to A5 by Andre Zaremba. What would you guys do here? This key moment in the game. Is Marcel had to anticipate this because now it's starting to look like black maybe got in some play. Bishop's in this scary square. This bishop d8, bishop a5 thing happens in a lot of Sicilians. It's a really sophisticated idea. So Andre is like out there fighting. We know Andre is a fighter. All right, guys. Yes, I'll give you about a minute. A lot of you are finding the right move. Well done. They can't see what other people are voting for. So, all right. Get your votes in as we're about to reveal what Marcel played. Okay, that's right. You guys voted correctly. The problem with those of you who voted for rook c4, does anybody want to unmute themselves and say what they played and why? Could be a good moment for that. Let's see, Tara?
I said b4 because you're forcing the bishop to go back and the bishop can no longer take the rook. Also the queen cannot take on e3 with check, because then the rook will take the queen, which is the problem with playing b3, because then the queen can take with check and that's just not good. And right, then if the bishop goes back, then you've also removed the queen as a defender on the b4 square, so you're just going to take the pawn after that, and then this looks really strong.
Bingo! There you go, Tara. That is exactly what Marcel played, and it was definitely a path for him to win his junior championship. You can't take on c4 right away because there's bishop takes d2, bang, removing the defender, and you actually lose a whole rook. But the reason I found b4 kind of cool is just it looks at it like it's hard for chess players to see moves like that sometimes because you're allowing en passant, which psychologically seems bad. But of course, there's a pin here. So en passant's no bueno. Just win a rook with check. So yeah, that was a cool move. And kind of the beginning of the end for Andre, as now you started to just like scoop up material and you still have all the light squares. You also beat me in this tournament. I went over that in a separate class, actually, which was a cool game as well. But yeah, this was kind of the pathway to Marcel winning his first junior. You got into this end game, and the problem in the end game is that it's even worse for black now because this pawn is just dynamite, right?
Yeah, little by little, there's not much that black can do. Is down material and positionally. The knight is a lot better than the bishop there, and has a lot of holes on f5, d5, which are easy to access for the white knight. But yeah, mostly, like you said, there's two passed pawns. I mean, there's not any active counterplay from the black side here.
Yeah, like this would be a typical maneuver here if you needed it. I don't even know if you need it because you can maybe just start pushing pawns, but playing something like knight c4 and knight e3, and then you have the choice of stunning squares. I mean, Marcel, this is just a beautiful example of a perfect knight versus a bad bishop. So
that's 100% accurate, right?
Okay. Yeah, and you did indeed do that. Love to see it. I mean, guys, remember that maneuver. It's a really important maneuver. They've got the dark squared bishop and their pawns are backward. They have no way to ever defend this light square. So it's all yours. This kind of comes up in every strong player's game eventually. And now, of course, it's a tale of two passed pawns. And well, but now I think he resigned shortly thereafter. But fantastic game by Marcel, the real Marcel Martinez. Speaking of the real Marcel Martinez, was that game in the park? So that wasn't played. That was like concocted by you or by the director or a consultant.
Yeah, that's correct. However, the gentleman that is calling the name, like when he gets mad at the kids gambling in the park, that he gets me to play rotor. Like he actually, when I got to the States from Cuba, I mean, he heard a little commotion, like, oh, this guy that came from Cuba that might be good, and the guy was a hustler. So he's like, oh, I have to play this guy. He cannot come into my town and start running things and things like that. And he actually played me 2 games, and I beat him both times. And he said, okay, I got nothing to prove. There's a new sheriff in town, nothing else to talk about. So that was a funny side story there. But that character, actually existed. The one that wanted me to play wrote it like there. It just on a different level. But yeah, that story was a little bit of Hollywood, but we did play in those parks a lot. You know, a lot of blitz. You know, honing our skills. Definitely.
Love it. And Carla, I wanted to ask you, because obviously it's been a long journey with this film. Can you talk to me about your like relationship with chess now? Have you become like a chess player yourself because of all your work in this film, in this industry?
So in the very beginning, Marcel said to me, don't learn how to play chess while you're making the movie because you will get sucked in and you won't be able to think about anything else. So I listened to him. What? He's 16 years old, and I listened to him for all this time. Now, Gil Luna is starting to teach me, and I'm learning on my own. But
22 years after.
23 years later. I actually think it fits my personality for the little that I know, and I'm loving it a lot. And I kind of wish I didn't listen to you for all these years, but I'm gonna have to make up for it because I guess you can learn at any age, obviously, but I could see how it would take over everything, you know, trying to be elegant and trying to be forceful at the same time and all the other adjectives you can think of. So I'm actually late in learning, but it's never too late, I'm assuming.
It's not. There's no age limit on learning. You can come to our women's classes too. I think I'll send you a link.
Yes.
We'd love to have you.
Yes.
And we would love to have you. Yes. It's so
Yes.
much fun. It's like a social event and a chess learning experience. Marissa, do you have one question? I think we have time for just a couple questions. And then we're going to wrap up. So Marissa, you're up.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I just wanted to say I loved the movie so much. We watched it last week and I was like in awe. I loved it. And I wanted to ask Marcel, what was it like seeing yourself like portrayed on like a big movie? And do you think like the actor who played you was pretty accurate in like how you were as a teenager and stuff?
Very, very good question. I still don't believe it. I mean, this national championship took place in 1998, and the movie got made 20 plus years after, thanks to that lady that you're seeing there with that closet full of shoes. I mean, it's an unbelievable story of sticking to it, and I mean, she thought this was something that needed to be told when we were all thinking she was crazy, and she took it to the next level. I mean, as far as I still don't believe it. During the filming process, I didn't believe it because it took so long to get it made that we always thought, you know, this is not gonna happen. I mean, what a beautiful idea, but it's just an idea. It's not a reality. And why would they care? Why would anybody care about these kids from the inner city playing chess? And I mean, it turned out into you know, everybody's liked it so far. Thank God. I mean, a feel good story. I mean, it really improved all of our lives. You know, who knows what would have happened to some of us coming up in those neighborhoods. As far as the guy playing me, it improved dramatically. So much better looking guy. But besides that, I mean, the guy was amazing. He went to my house and met me and my family. He was looking at me to see how I was moving the pieces, this and that. So all that story was very, you know, very unexpected and a lot of fun to go through that process. I never really thought that you know, that my name was going to be associated to any movie whatsoever. But it was such a fun story. I mean, going to set every day for 28 days, watching these guys, you know, go about acting and this and that. Some of them very famous, like John Leguizamo and Michael K. Williams was surprising to me. I remember one of the scenes I was in a room with him, and I got chills from seeing this guy in so many series and being such a fan and having him so close being involved in a project that I was involved in. So it was an unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Do.
The thing is, I met these guys when they were 16, 17 years old, and I had said to them, just trust me. Those were the 2 words I said, right, Marcel?
That's 100% accurate.
Right. And I'm so happy that they did. And there's one of the only reasons that kept me going was, how can you say, trust me, and then not follow through with, these 5 little guys that are looking up at me? Like, why would this woman care about kids like us for so long? And if I didn't care, nobody would have seen this movie. Nobody would have cared. So when I was watching themselves being portrayed, I cried and cried and cried every single time on set. I was, because I was watching Marcel, watching himself getting played by another person. It was surreal. And I just felt like the circle, finally completed. So the hashtag is trust me.
Love it. And, just the commitment you had to a goal and completing it. It's kind of like in chess, you can't just get a good position. You actually have to get checkmate. And, you did it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did it. And, big thank you to Marcel and Carla for taking time with us today. I also would have been starstruck by Omar from The Wire being in my movie. So I'm glad you held it together.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I really got chills watching that guy.
Yeah. He has an energy like you wouldn't believe. Like, you have to leave the room because he sucks it all out, right, Marcel? He sucks the energy. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like the best chess players in the world. They have so much energy in their craft that
no one else can be in the room.
Takes up the whole room. Love it. Well, big thank you to Carla and Marcel, and also thank you to Frankie, who's here. She's our creative director, and she helped set this up. So really grateful to her. And next week we continue with the Girls Club. We have a big week next week. Have Fiona Mutesi coming on Thursday. Friday we have Pontus Carlson. So I'll send you guys details on that. But for now, let's thank the people behind Critical Thinking. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's everywhere. Check it out. And then you can tell your friends that you also met everybody behind it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, bye to our Colombian friends too. Gracias.
Thank you.